So here we go again. African American people simply trying to go about their day-to-day lives, in this case, bird watching, and dog walker Karen takes issue with that. Let's just watch the video and we'll get into it.
Would you please stop? Sir, I'm asking you to stop.
Please don't come close to me.
Sir, I'm asking you to stop recording me.
Please don't come close to me.
Please take your phone off.
Please don't come close to
And
me.
I'm taking a picture and calling the cops.
Please call the cops. Please call the cops.
I'm going to tell them there's an African American man threatening my life.
Please tell them whatever you like.
Excuse me? I'm sorry, I'm in the Ramble, and there is a man, African American, he has a bicycle helmet. He is recording me and threatening me and my dog. There is an African American man, I am in Central Park. He is recording me and threatening myself and my dog. And my... I'm sorry, I can't hear you either. I'm being threatened by a man in the Ramble. Please send the cops immediately. I'm in Central Park in the Ramble. I don't know.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's unpack this. And there's a possibility, a good possibility, that you've seen this already. It was actually seen 20 million times just on Twitter after the victim's sister actually posted it there. So what did we see in the video? Well, we saw the Karen threatening to call the police on an African-American gentleman. We're told African-American. And the gentleman in particular is Mr. Christian Cooper. Christian was there bird watching, as he often does in the Ramble in Central Park. He is a Harvard graduate. He's a former writer for Marvel Comics. He's actually a biomedical writer and researcher currently, and spends a lot of time in Central Park, so much so that this happens quite a bit. He even keeps dog treats in his pocket because he runs across so many dogs off leash. Our dog walker Karen is Amy Cooper, and I'm assuming no relation. Amy has since come out and given a full apology and has said she can understand how she is being viewed and portrayed, and does not want, obviously, the thought to be that she is a racist woman. She says she is not. So what happens? So Christian comes across Amy and her dog, and the dog was essentially running to and fro just everywhere as Christian was attempting to birdwatch. He mentioned to Miss Cooper, your dog needs to be on a leash. That's park policy. And this ensued. He then offered a treat to the dog, and this is where I kind of understand Amy's perspective. She recoiled from this. Hey, I don't know what you're trying to give my dog. I believe I would probably be the same way. Somebody that just normally carries dog treats and you don't have a dog, that to me is kind of odd, even though, as Christian Cooper has said, he comes across this quite often. I don't know. Something just really weirded me out about that. He then pulls out the phone, starts recording, and her anxiety ramps up. And then it starts to get into racial territory, obviously, where she's, I'm going to call the police. I'm going to tell them that a African-American man, you could tell she wanted to say, I'm going to tell them that a black man. And then she, in her brain, thought, I shouldn't say black. I'm going to tell them that an African-American man is assaulting me. Obviously, that is filing a false police report and is a big deal. And of course, 20 million times on Twitter had their own perspective. And obviously, this is a small consensus. There are hundreds of thousands of tweets have come in about this. But one of the big things, of course, they're talking about the false police report, that she was, in fact, choking her dog, trying to keep her dog still while she was making the phone call. That, again, similarly to what the African-American experience is on a daily basis, just trying to do normal things, always getting the police called on them. I don't know if that's a fair characterization of this. It might be. My issue is now, after all this fallout, a couple things have happened. First off, I should say the police came, no charges were filed, and people are already crying foul about that because they say this should be a clear case of a false police report. Well, it's perspective. She felt she was in danger. I think there were elements of the story to make her think she might initially be. I don't think she should have continued to feel that way, but I do think it would be hard for police to make the case for a false police call. The evidence, I think, helps, but I think she could still make the case she felt vulnerable, she felt scared. So in the aftermath, she's had to give up her dog, and a lot of people were calling for that, for the way that the dog was being treated, essentially being choked while she was trying to keep it in place. It was a rescue dog. She has given it back to the rescue. Also, her work, Franklin Templeton, has had to issue a response. They more than likely will fire this person if it goes as these cases have done in the past. So my question is this: what should happen in this situation? Should she be banned from the park? Absolutely. Should she lose her dog? She has. I don't know if she should have. Should she lose her job? I don't understand why that is a prerequisite. I don't understand cancel culture. Somebody makes a mistake, and instead of trying to rehabilitate this person, show them why what they did was wrong, give them an opportunity to come out and say, hey, I was wrong for this, and this is why nobody else should emulate the behavior that I just did. Instead of that, it's you destroy that person. It doesn't stop people from doing these things. It keeps happening. I know the thought is you do it enough, it'll make people think twice about exhibiting that sort of behavior, but it hasn't yet. And I don't understand the thought of destroying someone utterly, taking away their livelihood, their job, everything about them. And then who's going to rehire that person? How long is it before they'll be able to get a job? Because this won't just end. The Amy Cooper will be somebody that will be followed for quite a while. So that's my question. And I want to show you, while you're thinking about that question, I want to show you a couple additional videos of situations of racism, and I think it was clear racism, and then the end result of what happened to the person.
A black man was wearing socks in a swimming pool, has now been fired. Camry Porter recorded the video and shared it on Facebook. She was at her apartment complex's pool in Memphis with her boyfriend and her young godsons, enjoying the 4th of July holiday. Porter says that they were the only black people there and that her boyfriend was sitting along the edge of the pool with his feet dipped in the water.
That's when Porter says a woman who claims she was the property manager asked him to remove his socks because they weren't, quote, proper pool attire. The woman then called the police when he did not take off his socks or leave the pool. Porter says she felt racially targeted.
She was like, well, I'm the property manager, and she pointed at the rules. The rules say proper pool attire. It doesn't specify what proper pool attire is. A gentleman, he had on black Adidas basketball shorts. It does look funny. It's 25, 30 plus white people out here, and you haven't said, you're partying with them. You're partying with them. But when we come, it's an issue.
When police arrived at the scene, Porter and her boyfriend decided to leave, saying that the situation, quote, could have gone a whole other way. As we mentioned, the woman who called the cops has since been fired from her job.
When Yasmin Abuliman recorded the now viral video on her cell phone.
Why do I need to show you my ID?
This man, Adam Bloom, volunteered at the Winston-Salem neighborhood pool and asked to see her ID. He also called police. When officers arrived, Abuliman told them she felt unfairly targeted. Police verified her pool pass worked.
And nobody else was asked their ID. I am the only black. I feel this.
Handled the situation differently if she were white.
No, I wouldn't have. If I in any way made her feel uncomfortable, unwanted, unwelcome, especially with her child there. Receive a couple seconds of your life and don't see it in total. I think they can jump to conclusions that aren't there.
Do you want to apologize?
Tonight, Bloom has resigned from his homeowners association position and has lost his job at a local packaging company.
I would love to say that this situation is isolated, but it's not. You can go on YouTube right now and find dozens of examples of this. And to say that there is not a racial component is to be very naive. Of course there is. In a lot of these situations, because the people were of color, they were looked at differently. The lens was put on them, the magnifying glass rather, was put on them specifically because they were people of color. And that is wrong. That is 100% wrong and should be called out. My question is, should the offender have their lives utterly destroyed? And should this be something that they can never recover from? Because it used to be, if somebody owned up to what they did, apologized, they had the ability to move on with their life. And because of cancel culture, that's not the case. And so that's really my question. And I'm very curious to hear your thoughts. What do we do? Does this continue to just be whack-a-mole when we have a situation comes up where somebody is horrible and heinous and it's caught on film and their lives are destroyed utterly forever based on one decision? I don't know. Let me hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching.